Massive game in Pool B in the Hero World League final. It's the world number 3 Netherlands up against world number 2 Australia. And we are coming to you from the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi, India. Picture perfect conditions, a lot more sunlight than there was yesterday. Some sprinkling of support for both teams. And that should make for a fascinating contest between these two traditional rivals in the sport of hockey, particularly in this new millennium. These two have really been two of the strongest teams, of course, with Germany right up there and thereabouts in most continental competitions. Familiar colors for both of them as well. Australia in their green and gold, and conspicuous in their orange are the Dutchmen, smarting, of course, from their 2-5 reverse at the hands of Argentina in their opening encounter yesterday, while Australia were 3-2 victors against Belgium and will no doubt be looking to build on that performance. First of all, as always, we'll stand by for the national anthems of the two teams. We'll have Australia, but before that we'll have the national anthem of Netherlands. Australia, of course, will have fond memories of having played right here at this Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium pitch. Won the last World Cup in the spring of 2010 right here in New Delhi, and later on that year, about 5 or 6 months on, went on to win the Commonwealth Games gold with a resounding 8-0 victory over hosts India in the finals. And why this is an important match in this pool is because Argentina have worked their way to the top of the table thanks to their thrilling 3-2 victory over Netherlands, or rather over Belgium, to match with their 5-2 victory over the Netherlands yesterday. And in many respects, a must-win encounter here for the Dutch. If they want to be in contention for the top spot, it could still be theirs, but for that to happen, they'll have to grab a victory today and hope for a favorable result next when Argentina face Australia. Well, look at the Dutch team. Some players to watch out for. Number 8, Billy Bakker, was quite impressive yesterday. He is one of their playmakers and a real dangerman. Robert Kemperman also had a good game, number 12. And the goals yesterday came in from Seve van Aas, who begins on the bench. And then number 30, Mink van der Weerden, penalty corner specialist par excellence. Paul van Aas, their coach, who knew that he was up against it against Argentina. And today, of course, he won't be taking anything lightly against a very, very strong Australian team. Look at that lineup. It really does look like an all-star 11. George Baisley in goal. Mark Knowles, outstanding performer, number 9. Eddie Okenden, number 11. And the goals yesterday, 2 of them for Kieran Gowers, who was coming back from injury. And there was 1 goal as well for Jacob Wetton for Rick Charlesworth's men. Charlesworth, one of the doyens in the sport, not only in hockey as a matter of fact, but also did very well in cricket, where he represented Western Australia with great honours. Today's officials, Herman Montes de Oca from Argentina, And he's joined at the other end, closer to us, by Marcin Grochal from Poland. So Netherlands against Australia, big game in Pool B on the second day of the competition in this Hero Hockey World League. It's the Dutchmen who will get things going. They're going from left to right on the screens as we watch, and defending their goal on the right in their gold and yellow, or green rather, the Australians. And they could have an early chance. Just as the ball rolls out of harm's way, it gives me the opportunity to welcome my co-commentator, former Olympian from Great Britain, Simon Mason.
Afternoon, Dubai. I'm really looking forward to this, whether the Dutch can recover from that 5-2 defeat against Argentina. I actually think the Australians stepping out higher than the Argentinian defence did yesterday will give the Dutch a little bit more space and may actually play into their hands.
Is Australia themselves coming through a very tough encounter against Belgium. Twice they moved ahead, twice Belgium came right back into it, and it took a last-ditch effort. An outstanding goal too from Jacob Wetton to clinch it for them with the 3-2 margin. But here come the Dutchmen for the first time. It's a great move as well, and a good shot, but sounding the board from the side. Great movement though from Hertzberger.
It was a great pick-up on the reverse for Hertzberger as he burst into the circle, I think this early in the game. You see here, a little reverse stick dink, square himself up, got in a great shooting chance, but in attempt to try and hit it too hard, hits the sideboard.
He did mark himself out as a danger man, in fact is one of their most experienced players in any case. Had a good game, but just couldn't find the finishing touch against Argentina. Earning his 133rd cap today. 27-year-old who plays for FC Rotterdam. In fact, by all accounts, the Dutch club system is something that has produced so many champion players. It also attracts the attentions of players from around the world. And most of these players are regulars on that circuit. Simon, also two teams that know each other a lot, have played each other quite often in the last few years, especially in big summit clashes. So that could make for an intriguing clash because they will know some of the strengths and weaknesses.
That's right, Dubai, and yeah, just pausing briefly because I felt the Dutch may make their way into the circle. However, you're right, these guys are going to be on first-name terms. They've known each other for so long. They'll know their systems inside out. And that's why in these early stages of these tournaments, you often see phases where teams will play a completely different tactical structure so that they can then just experiment with something different and see if it gets as many rewards. Because realistically, these two coaches will have done so much homework and the players instinctively will know exactly what's facing them.
Dutch defense yesterday had a good first half, but in the second one, they were on a few occasions just split open by the Argentines. That's something that they'll need to watch out for. Captain hoping to lead from the front, Van der Horst. Scooped up by Vermeulen, looking for that man, Billy Bakker. A good bit of ghosting from Tristan White.
And if the Dutch are going to be successful going forwards, Bakker needs to be busier. He got so little ball against the Argentinians, and I know, having spoken to a couple of the Dutch players, that they were very frustrated by the way the Argentinians just sat back and played with a very, very deep 9 or 10 man defence. They were unable to break it down, and they just kind of ran out of ideas. Bakker's a real key to some of their attack individually. His one-on-one skills and elimination are brilliant.
This time around, Russell Ford, though, gets some space to work with. He's moved beautifully into the D, and he's also relayed a pass on. And that was a loose ball which fell quite nicely, but just couldn't get across to it. Daniel Beal, the youngster, the only man who's carried on from the Junior World Cup squad, which played right here at the Major Dhyan Chand Stadium. Free hit at the other side for Netherlands, almost immediately on the attack. Kemperman, once again, the man who built up everything.
Yeah, Bob de Volk, as he drove in from that free hit all on his own. Lovely little pirouette into the edge of the circle, but brought the ball onto his own foot. Easy possession for the Australians to come away from, and they seem to be quite happy to play with a deep four-man defensive line at the moment. Transfers taking 3 passes.
This time again, that ball was intended for Wetton, but just couldn't get across to it. Losing his footing, not the first time that we've seen a player do that in these first 2 days.
Early on in these games, and they've watered it just prior to the game, and they need to do that to keep the ball moving as fast as possible. you have to put enough water to, obviously, to last the half, and therefore occasionally at the beginning it's just a little bit more slippy than you would desire. But if you don't water it that much, by the end of the half it's drying out and the ball starts to skip. So it's a bit of a trade-off.
Well, today Argentina clinching a fine 3-2 victory against Belgium, coming back from 2-1 down. A lot of character in their performance for the second day in a row. That's why the onus on both teams here. Australia also need a victory to keep pace with the Argentinians, whom they face in their last match. So that could well turn out to be a top of the table clash. Before that, the Dutch hurdle to get across. Slipping the ball amongst themselves, the men at the back. Wouter Yoli, the very experienced defender.
And that lead forwards from Wouter Yoli creates space in the midfield. If one of your fullbacks plays a ball laterally and then runs through the midfield defensive line of the opponent, it does create some great spaces.
That's what they're looking to exploit yet again. Hertzberger sends it in. Vanas with a great opportunity, still with Bakker. Lines it up on his reverse, but some good pressure from the Australian defence. And in the end, an easy save for Baisley.
Yeah, and the replay here is a great turn from Hertzberger, driving along the baseline and pulls it back. It's a good defensive stick in the block in the way in the end, because that goal was beckoning. Baisley would never have got across to his right post.
Is the initial shot coming in from Seve Vanas. So the three of them combining well. Bakker, Vanas as well as Hertzberger. Kieran, or rather Mark Knowles there, the man with the captain's band. Again, Hertzberger turning it back, and Bakker getting very close to putting in the decisive deflection, just missing out. Both Knowles as well as Govers coming back from injury. Knowles had a horrendous ankle injury back in September, and Govers as well coming back from injury.
So this is the ball to the baseline again for Hertzberger. Drops it back. Bakker having to lead across it. Difficult chance.
Australian defence already having something to think about, especially with Hertzberger and his skills and also his pace.
Well, that's good team interplay down the right-hand side. When he came in from the left, it was individual. He pulled the ball back to square himself up and drive to goal. Both of those chances in the last 2 or 3 minutes have been created by lovely little balls put in front of him that he can drive along the baseline. The chance for Billy Bakker was a tough one, because he was having to play it off his back foot as he accelerated across the goal mouth. Difficult to get the direction and the pace.
Again, a deflection, useful one. Billy Bakker had a great opportunity, but Baisley came out and just upset him enough to deny the opening goal for Netherlands.
Yeah, look, this is a great touch from Seve Vanas, and Bakker just unable to stun the ball enough to get round the goalie and get it on target.
It's a lively start, especially from the Dutchman. And that's a hallmark of another quality team. They did play a little under par yesterday, but they look like they have put it right behind them and have come in with a fresh start on their minds. As we mentioned, will be still wide open in a sense. Argentina perhaps pulling away from the rest, but if Netherlands can grab a victory here, then it will still leave a very open field for the final day of competition in this pool. This was a great run from the Aussies. It's walked its way great. Oh, what a chance that was. Initially fell for Wetton, and then the follow-up attempted. Couldn't quite finish it off, Ockenden.
Well, Ockenden was unable to get a final touch on this. Great drive along the baseline. Good pullback under pressure. Not a great bit of defence, but in the end Stockman did enough to close the angle down.
All the spade work initially done by Keel Brown, but now back on the defensive. In come the Dutchman. Half clearance coming in from White, and it does enough to deny the Dutchman that advantage, but still back with the orange possession.
Well, in the past, Australia have played zonal defensive tactics, but at the moment it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. They're defending really narrow, which gives the Dutch these wing spaces, both on the right and the left side. There, Bakker, able to pick it up on the line where the D crosses the baseline, with very, very little attention from an opposite player.
Looked sharp right from the start, and that's why they have had a lot more chances in terms of getting into the opposition circle. No goals as yet inside the first 10 minutes, but a few good half chances being created by the Netherlands. This time the long ball well intercepted.
as Kemperman has drilled it straight to the Australian forward line. That's an awful pass.
Here's Glenn Turner. He had for support Russell Ford inside, but a good bit of defending as well from Yoli, underscoring his quality. Knowles doing enough to win that ball in midfield, and as a result, Nicholas Budgeon gets a chance to move ahead with it.
That's where we have the benefit from our elevated commentary position, because as Australia broke down the right-hand side, Zaluski come into the left. And there was acres of space if they'd been able to transfer through midfield.
This one has been slapped right through again. The Dutch defence having some questions asked at them. In the end, answering them quite effectively. Sander Bart, very, very experienced.
Ball gets drilled in, it's gone 5 yards. Just a bit of a fight between everybody in the end. Sander Bart clearing that lifted ball.
Charlesworth knows that his team can ill afford mistakes, especially when getting into offensive positions. They've got to try and make the most of it. It's not often that a Dutch team does concede 5 goals. That happened yesterday. One would expect them to be a little bit more organized in defense today.
Great last-ditch tackle from Sander Bart. He comes in, interception rather than tackle, knows the ball's going into the heart of the circle, quite prepared to put himself down on the turf, deflecting the ball away.
Oh, this time again looking for the flick on was Glenn Turner. Clever play from him, but again the Dutch defense doing well enough.
They did in the end, however, for a moment it really did look like Glenn Turner was going to make it in. It's a lovely little backhand in from Liam de Jong. Reverse touch ball from Turner. And then Sander Bart's clearance wasn't great, but in the end, Wouter Yoli getting the ball onto an Australian foot.
It's Russell Ford finding that ball hitting his shoe, but at the other end, great opportunity. Oh, it's still in there. It's still bubbling about. Hasn't found its way in. It's a penalty corner. And the Aussies look like they want to refer this one.
Well, they're certainly not happy about something. It was a hideous bit of scramble play. Goalkeeper went for it, bobbled up and hit the inside edge of the post. What's Mark Knowles asking about? Video referral.
It wasn't when... Yes, I understand the question. Yes, Martin, go ahead. The Australian team is asking for a foot of the Dutch player in the circle. Therefore, it's not a penalty corner.
I think it's a passage of play to Bayern that leads to the ball on the floor in front of the keeper. We look here, it's the very first trap. I think it's by Bakker in front of the goalkeeper. There, does it hit a foot at that point? Ball in from Bob de Vocht. There, yes. Looks like, to us, certainly looks like that comes off the stick and then a Dutch foot before it hits Mark Knowles on the back of the head.
So the players know, don't they? They have moved across away from the scene of the action.
Well, I appreciate that, but in the past we have seen some decisions that have gone unexpectedly different directions.
Martin, can you hear me?
You'd hope this isn't one of them, given the reaction of the players.
There was a Dutch foot inside the circle, so therefore it's a free hit for Australia. Okay, perfect, thank you.
Well, the video umpire, Gregory Utenhoff, gives his decision in favour of the Aussies, and that means that the Charlesworth's team can restart this. That was an almighty scramble and could have gone anywhere, eventually hitting the foot of Van Dalen. This is well picked up. Working his way through was Keil Brown. He's had a good start to this match. Lively start, lively presence, and he's won his team a penalty corner.
Yeah, and they've got the big guns on here. We see it's a lovely little run from Kyle Brandon. So carrying the ball brilliantly on his reverse stick, able to pull it back, and he does so onto the foot of Sander Devine. Unable to get his feet out of the way.
Man right on the left of picture, Kieran Govers, got 2 goals from penalty corners yesterday, and he will be quite eager to get on the score sheet today as well.
So he's at the top with Ockenden to his right-hand side. Mark Knowles is backed away towards the halfway line. He's got a ferocious hit on him, but those two guys are the castles at the top. So Two world-class flickers.
It is Govers, and this takes a Dutch foot along the way, so that will be a follow-up penalty corner now for them.
Yeah, Govers won't be happy because the trap was not clean. It bounced off the trapper's stick rather than being cushioned under it. We see here the ball comes out. That moves about 6 inches towards Govers' feet, making it really hard for him to pick it and deliver it cleanly going for the bottom left-hand corner. It slides off the end of his stick.
Yesterday against Argentina, Jaap Stockman conceded a rather soft penalty corner, so he'll need to be on the money if the next shot is on target. Looks like the setup is similar. Glenn Turner with the injection. It's been missed altogether.
Knowles in the end had to foul as he came forward from the halfway line. The ball's just popped up from Glenn Turner's injection.
Immediately Netherlands looking to build on something of their own. Van Dalen, but lucky to survive the onslaught previously in their own goal mouth. Hit in with some power, but also defended quite resolutely. Zalewski with the ball. A couple of the more inexperienced players, Daniel Beal and Aaron Zalewski.
Well, you saw in that position, both right on their toes, ready to attack the ball in case the self-pass was taken. They're back on their heels, anticipating a ball being crashed in, and you just can't move and react.
Just in terms of numbers, you will find that it's been a pretty even contest. 56 to 44 in favor of Netherlands. Just a touch more in terms of circle penetrations, but the number which matters the most is the one on top, which is still 0-0. All the way back here to Knowles.
Well, and all the space, all the time they've got at the moment, because the Dutch are holding at halfway line. Hertzberger's come out all on his own, and that's a thankless task because he's got no cover for his angles to be able to deny any specific pass when the rest of his team stayed at the halfway line. Every now and again, though, a team will just hold their defensive shape, be nice and compact, make sure all the lines are good, and then just send out one runner just to try and put a little bit of pressure on, force an error that you can then capitalise from.
This time, though, it's Australia who come away with the ball. Beal, captain from the Junior World Cup squad. A good outing himself, scored a few goals, but this time cannot quite find the finishing edge with his teammates. Also an excellent opportunity for all coaches to size up some of the younger players, give them a go against some of the top teams in the world and see how they thrive under pressure, how they combine with some of their teammates.
That's right, with such a busy international schedule this year, it's impossible for all players to be competing at top physical intensity for that entire period. So you need a break every now and again, and you need to therefore be able to blood your youngsters.
This is a good long ball which has found its mark, and the reverse stick attempted pass was very, very close to an overlapping Jacob Wetton.
Well, Wetton needed to commit to that as the ball's come in. It's a brilliant cross from Govers, nice and flat. Wetton needed to just get behind the goalkeeper. He was close enough.
He scored an extraordinary winner yesterday in the dying moments of the match against Belgium. Wonder if he's saving the best for last. At the moment, this is Hertzberger once again moving forward well, but well defended by Zalewski.
Hertzberger's final pass into the circle was poor. He cut inside brilliantly to eliminate the Australian left defender, but in doing so, it was just slightly far out in front of him, and when it's that far out in front of him, it's impossible to change the angle of the pass, so he just shoveled it into the heart of the circle.
Van der Horst on through to the middle. Sandergaard, who's quite happy to move up from defensive positions and contribute to attack. What's happened after a bright start, the last few minutes, the Australians have the measure of the Netherlands as they move forward. So it's led to perhaps the two teams cancelling each other out a bit. This is once again being well walked by the Aussies. A sequence of passes and a lot of golden shirts moving forward in good numbers.
And Knowles overlapping down the right-hand side, pushing forward from a central defensive position, created that overlap.
This is good work once again by Zalewski. He's almost found his mark and went for a shot in the end, looked like.
Well, Stockman's been really rooted into his goal. As this ball comes in, as the elimination happens, you'd expect to see him forwards. He takes half a pace forwards and then going backwards, however, ends up falling onto his backside, basically, and unable to make any distance sideways.
He's beginning to combine well when moving forward, and that's always a positive sign, especially for a team which thrives on playing an aggressive brand of hockey. De Jong set this one in, just couldn't trap it though. Ockenden. Still with Aussie possession, sending this one in. It's a good deflection. This time Stockman is up to the task.
And that's a super combination into the circle. It is a great save in the end, but a brilliant deflected ball across the heart of the Dutch D. Yeah, umpire Herman there pushing Eddie Ockenden back because he didn't check the path of the ball when the free hit was given. The ball has to be checked on self-pass. So the players are just coming together for a quiet word.
Minutes have definitely belonged to the Aussies. They've put a lot of pressure on, and specifically up front, Jacob Wetton has been quite lively, causing a few problems. The last save was extracted off Wetton.
You can play, come on. First and the last.
Pushes this one out. Deal allows it to go past, but it finds a Netherlands foot, and in the process, it will be another penalty corner. Can Australia make Netherlands pay for it this time around?
And that's a soft corner to give away, and Sander de Veen knows that he should have done better. The ball was just a little bit loose as it was bobbling across. You see here, just literally played underneath. Sander de Veen doesn't get his feet in the right place, off the side of his shoe, cheap corner.
As the Dutch defense organizes itself, the Aussies decide on their course of action for this. 45 seconds is all they have, and they have come down to the last 5 seconds or so.
Well, Mark Knowles on the right-hand castle a minute ago was looking like he was walking away to the halfway line, so you can only guess this is going to left castle.
Joel Carroll alongside him. Looking to work a variation, but in the end, scuffing his shot, one would think, but still with Aussie possession and another penalty corner. So rewarded for hanging in there. Jacob Wetton doing well.
Yeah, Klaas Vermeulen unable to get out of the way. Sander Baart had a perfect opportunity because it was a poor routine as it came out to the top of the circle. Wasn't done very well from Joel Carroll at all, unable to get a good shot. The defence will reset this, see if they can get the ball clear a little bit earlier. The second phase killed them that time.
As Tristan White trots over and joins that huddle after a few words of instruction from Rick Charlesworth. Perhaps just looking to work a variation this time around, but it is still Joel Carroll alongside Mark Knowles as the two castles for this particular penalty corner. Carroll this time with a drag flick. Easy enough save for Stockman. Once again, Zalewski doing well. Oh, that one just fired across the face of goal. Not too far away from Australia.
It wasn't. Ockenden did very, very well to pick it up and get it on target. The first flick, maybe they've seen what Stockman let in last time because that's straight down the middle. Good understanding from Wetton. Fired across. And as it comes back here, Ockenden goes for it, but off balance past the post.
Russell Ford was also in a very good position. Had he got a touch on, then this one could have been the first goal of the match. As it stands, no goals as yet in this critical Pool B encounter between two top teams who have served up some good hockey, but not been able to find the finishing touch just as yet. Reverse it. Oh, a half stop from defense, and they'll get a penalty corner because George Baisley just couldn't quite deal with that ball as effectively as he would have liked.
It was fired straight into the circle. The Australian defence really should have done better to pick it up. We'll see here, reverse stick ball in from Hoffman. That should have been picked clean. In the end, it's the little dink that gets underneath Baisley, and that's obstruction. The first decision from Marcin Grockel had to be a corner because the players can't get to the ball.
So now this is a chance for their big guns to line up and to go for it. Mink van der Woerden scored off the very first opportunity that he got against Argentina. Can he do likewise? There he is to the right of picture, rubbing his hands in glee. The second castle alongside him is Hoffman. Will they need him though? It is van der Woerden, and Baisley does well, getting down low and making sure he covered the angle.
Baisley read it perfectly, didn't he? There wasn't any disguise in that against Argentina. Mink van der Woerden brought it in straight and then opened his wrists and flicked it out to the goalkeeper's left-hand side. That time he just pulled straight through the ball, and in doing so it was readable by Baisley. He's got too much experience to let that go past him.
As you would expect with two quality sides, very difficult to say which team has the upper hand at any stage. As soon as Australia have some bright moments of their own, then Netherlands fight back with some good attacking play.
That's a brilliant pass, and Van As has picked it up superbly. Got great vision out on that left-hand side from Sander Bart. Sorry, Devine to hit it so far across the pitch.
Again, and they're scoring, the quality on display. Coming up to the last 10 minutes of this first half, but it has been pulsating hockey in this time. Again, getting into a good position, Russell Ford just couldn't quite bring it under control.
The ball popped out. A change of angle there. The Dutch defenders overrun it, unable to get a touch in the middle of the circle.
Last evening's man of the match, Jacob Wetten. Somebody who's always involved in a lot of the positive play that goes around. Not more even in terms of numbers because Australia have had a lion's share of possession. That's why the greater number of circle penetrations. There's also shots. So the last few minutes reflecting how much Australia have gained a little bit of control, but hard to say that because it's still very even numbers all around and it's still 0-0. Now that's a long ball. He's almost picked it up. Oh, that would have been incredible.
Well, the Australian defence had been caught going in the wrong direction. They were moving towards Mink van der Woerden, possibly thinking that on the sideline he hadn't been able to get it. If that had been picked up clear in space and able to attack the goal, Hoffman would have been in.
As Simon Mason rightly predicted, Netherlands clearly enjoying the fact that Australia are playing a lot more open hockey than Argentina did yesterday, sitting back as they did and hit them on the counter offensives. Today it's been to and fro, a lot more aggressive from Australia, and as a result Netherlands also able to respond in a similar manner.
Yeah, and you can always say that against Argentina the Dutch possibly didn't really anticipate how well their opponents would have played. They didn't get themselves in the right mental frame of mind to play as well as they needed to. Against Australia, that is never going to happen. Obviously, world-class opponents, and even if you don't think about it subconsciously, you know you're going to have to be a metre faster against them than what you perceive to be a lesser opponent. And that's what this game's panning out to be. Both teams giving it their best, really even, with great chances on either side.
This was slapped through, hoping to find Kieran Gowers up front. Well done though. This is a lovely movement coming from forward from Wouter Joly. Eventually dispossessed. It's a 4 against 4. If they can get rid of the ball quickly, Zalewski tries, but goes back to Dutch possession.
Oh, Valtioli really needed to release that ball to Bob de Vogt on the left-hand side a lot earlier. As he came through, he eliminated one player brilliantly, but then just needed to drop it under his arm, and there was a lot of space in the midfield.
Little notes being made all around, but Australia again on the defensive as the Dutch come forward. A chance for a shot. Some good committed defending from Keel Brown.
Bob de Vogt never really had enough space to take that shot on. Toulousky was too close to him. Carl Brown was close to him. He should just have seen that defensive pressure and just tucked it onto a foot to win the corner.
Here's Govers. Looking for Turner. Well intercepted though. Sandergaard, who's been having an outstanding game thus far. And as soon as I say that, give the ball away. Is this the opening that they need? Jacob Wetton doing well to send that ball through. And looking for Russell Ford, but the obstruction going against Australia. So coming to the closing stages of what has been a pacey first half. And who's to say who will get that first goal? But if we do get that first goal, then this will be a red-hot game after that, just judging by the way the first 29 minutes have gone.
Super one-handed carry from Sevi Vadas as he picked that up. You carry the ball in one hand, stick in one hand. It just gives you a greater arc to run round, makes it harder for a defender to get a tackle in. Obviously not as strong a carrying position, but the distance means that you can just get away from the defender beside you.
That's a lovely little touch coming in from Jason Wilson, all the way through to Kieran Govers. Oh, that's a chance, and he wasn't too far away, was he?
Not at all. Govers had made that completely, had led out to the left-hand flank. The pass was delivered beautifully. He's got his feet round it to be able to drag flick it across. Dutch could have done better, but the turn there in the end from Jason Wilson, superb, but not able to squeeze it in. The touch in the end from Polkamp was crucial.
If anything, perhaps Wilson, they're just overrunning it, because that was a magnificent run. He went all the way from the halfway line, and made his way across inside the D, going at good pace. Coming up to the last 5 minutes. Well, that's not fair. Come on.
That's not fair at all, is it? This is one of the most intriguing games we've seen so far this tournament. We've seen some fantastic matches, but it certainly isn't going to go in the book that says boring at the top of the page.
I think just one of those moments. Probably had a nice Delhi lunch. Some curry, some dal makhni, some good naan. The winter sun, all of it contributing, but that's definitely not the case with the players. They're really up for this match. And it happens so often in sport, doesn't it, Mace? When you come up against a good opponent, then it also raises your level.
Absolutely, and it's why quite often you see a lot of the good teams in many sports, they'll win a pulsating encounter against a top flight opponent, and then the next week they'll lose to a bottom of the table side just because they can't raise their game.
Netherlands looking to finish this first half on a high. Billy Bakker once again is involved in most of their creative play down the flanks. Hoffman. Salewski. Well worked by Simon Orchard. Moving forward, great skill. Oh, that's a super pass. Glenn Turner creating space, and a stop save as well from Stockman.
Super from Stockman, really great extension to his right-hand side, but ignoring the shot, the quality of the build-up was just exceptional. Super interchange. It's the burst forward from Simon Orchard that created all the space.
And just as it has right through this first half, fortunes going this way and that. Now Australia on the offensive. Netherlands forced to defend in good numbers, and they do so quite confidently in the end. This has fallen for Hertzberger. Looking up for support, looking up for a run from his players.
And Jonker had gone forwards and had to, because the Dutch had all 11 players in deep defence. So when Hertzberger got it, he had nobody in front of him. What you don't want to do in that instance as a forward is just run away from the rest of your team and isolate yourself. So just standing still made Jonker overlap and create a few more options for Hertzberger.
Brown. And to Govers, the man with 2 goals in the previous encounter.
Vermeulen dancing to get out of the way of Govers, making sure he was the requisite 5 metres to start with.
Danger not still cleared completely. And it is a penalty corner for a raised stick and also for a push.
The penalty corner's been given for the push. Umpire Montester Ocker has given it a clear statement. It came up, I felt, off Turner's stick. However, the umpire was in a perfect position to see it. Here we go as this gets played in. There, now that's been perceived as a push. That was reasonably harsh. It looked like Valtioli was just trying to take his stick from backhand to forehand over the top, but it's been perceived as a push and therefore the corner's been given. This was what an interchange. It's that ball there underneath the arm and then suddenly Stockman called into action.
Well, Turner was the man with the shot, but this time he's at the top, at the right corner of the D. Are they looking to work a variation? Stockman stands firm and there was a chance for a deflection right at the edge, but didn't quite work out.
Well, 2 Dutch players have run into each other completely. That's why Vermeulen, he's run past Joly.
Just a few flared tempers around.
Card's been given. It looks like it's Govers who's been given a green card. You see here, that's Govers into the back of Vermeulen. Sorry, I thought he'd run into Valtioli. They were the 2 players, but they've just both been barged past.
Yeah, that was more than just clumsy. It was rather foolish at this stage. In an attacking position, a man down. And with just about a minute on the clock. Need to be wary of Netherlands' counter-attack in this situation.
Well, the others just need to be sensible, retain possession, look for the least dangerous channels. As we see a pass of 40 yards up the middle of the pitch. Coach Charlesworth, whilst he wants a full press on, he doesn't want to take too many risks. However, the Dutch haven't committed too many to the attack.
Without Govers, a little less attacking teeth as well. And this is the danger. When Netherlands get the ball, can they make them pay for it? Hertzberger moving forward. Finds De Vogt to his left.
De Vogt is isolated. He's got nothing there.
Trying to make the most of it. Gets a long corner for his team. Last few seconds, possibly the last shot towards goal if they can find something here. What a dramatic end to the first half it will be. Not quite to be because it's fallen straight to Zalewski. And Australia will clear the danger, but an exciting first 35 minutes and still anybody's game, Simon.
It is indeed, and the stats will tell us it's all pretty even, I'm sure. Good chances at both ends. Stockman probably having to come out with the better saves of the 2 goalkeepers. Baisley having to scramble a couple as well.
Yes, it was Netherlands who began brightly, but Australia came back with some good attacking play of their own. Baisley has had a few saves to make, as has Jaap Stockman, but thus far, no joy yet for either sets of outfield players, because we are still searching for the first goal in this Pool B encounter between 2 of the top 3 teams in the world, Netherlands and Australia, at the moment at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium, are yet to find their first goal of this match. The half-time scoreline in Delhi at the moment is Netherlands 0, Australia 0.
Trying to do what Lucas said, which is make the replays 3 seconds, it's really difficult to finish it. But and say something meaningful. I think after this we might have a chat and say, can we try and do double? It just means you can say something a little bit more relevant. 3's too long, but 1 you can't say anything in 3 seconds. If you want me to do anything different though, just tell me by all means.
See, I think it's working perfect. I don't think there's any.
It's fine. You're the pro at this. I'm just about making out.
No, I mean, if Rupert comes back with some feedback, then we can tell him this. But that's a shortcut. Okay. As of now, I don't think. As they say, you can't please everyone all the time. So there's one friend of mine who's an editor over at 10, so they are editing the highlights. So he just messaged me on WhatsApp saying that, can you keep it shorter? I said, okay, I'll try, but
Possible goalie change. They did yesterday.
well, the floodlights just beginning to take effect at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. No goals as yet in this match between Netherlands and Australia, but no shortage of excitement. A pretty open first half witnessed alongside me in the commentary box by Simon Mason.
Yeah, the Dutch had the best of the opening chances. Hertzberger came along down the baseline on several occasions, both from the right and from the left-hand side, to create some trouble in the circle. And that was a lovely touch from Van Aert that Bakker wasn't able to get onto the end of, with a goal beckoning.
And that was the stage when Australia decided to step it up, and they had some great chances of their own as well. Some lovely individual skills, and the Dutch defense had to be good.
They did, and Stockman made a couple of saves, a couple of good blocks, got himself in the right position. That one was a lovely flash shot from Jake Wetton. Wetton, as it came, ball came past his right foot, bobbled up dangerously, but Stockman in the right place, and then great flowing move down the midfield. Childs drove, early pass into Turner, who great shot to the right foot of Stockman for an extension save.
Yes, Glenn Turner not only involved in that individual skill, but also in earning a few penalty corners, none of which have been converted. 5 in all for both teams, but quite even on most numbers. Australia with almost 2 times as many shots and 1.5 times as many circle penetrations, indicating that they just got a little bit of momentum as that half went on. Just 1 card, so more or less a clean game between 2 teams, which are huge, and one would think in the second half they'll just step it up a little bit more.
Well, either team's going to step up, but you do feel it's so close that the key to this may well be the mistakes that happen rather than the fantastic play. The team that makes the least mistakes in crucial areas is probably the team that will be victorious.
It's been quite good for them in both games. Inside of a 5-2 scoreline yesterday. And we'll be hoping to change things around. The Dutch team are out there. And what we saw during the halftime break was also that Australia might well make a change in their goalkeeper because Tyler Lovell got an extended workout. Something they did yesterday as well.
Yeah, and they always look to rotate their goalkeepers for early stages of tournaments. Unusual, in my opinion, to see change at half-time. Difficult to get warmed up as a goalkeeper, but certainly making sure both keepers are well involved with the tournament as it progresses.
Good camaraderie between the two men, vying for that #1 goalkeeper spot. Just a fist pump to ensure that the good work is kept up. Cold conditions at the moment in Delhi, and everybody just getting ready for the second half, as I'm sure is the Australian coach Rick Charlesworth, who's down in the touchline with Michael Absalom. Let's hear what he has to say.
Rick, thoughts on that first half and the message that you've conveyed to the guys in the changing room?
Well, we had 5 corners and a bunch of chances we haven't scored. That's disappointing. They've had their moments too. A little bit tighter all around the field. A little bit more pressure on the ball carrier is needed, and some thoroughness in our finishing.
Did the boys put a finger on why those corners weren't working out in the first half?
Personnel, the pitch is bumpy. There's a bunch of things.
And missing the likes of Jamie Dwyer on this tour, he's resting up for the HIL stuff that's coming up. Is he a big loss to not having him out there?
We got half a dozen guys who would maybe be here with our best group, and Jamie's resting, that's the issue. But we got to do it with this group.
Okay, well, good luck with this group of lads, and good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
As always, very honest and very, very candid in everything that he says. The doctor.
Yes, indeed, and he was reported in the press as saying that his team just needed to make less mistakes. I mean, okay, that's stating the obvious, but did feel that in that 3-2 win over Belgium that there was a few crucial areas in really important key areas, key positions across the field. And as he just said there, it's about the fact they are missing a few of their key players. So not only Jamie Dwyer, but Kavanagh and Swan. But it's the guys who are out there who have to deliver, and this will be a fantastic test for them this second half. Some of the less experienced people to really see if they can step up in a very, very tight game.
Yes, it happened yesterday with young Jacob Wetton standing up to be counted, the 22-year-old getting the winner. Let's see if they can repeat that dose today. It's the Aussies, the Kookaburras, who will get things moving in the second half. This time they'll be going from left to right and up against them in orange, Netherlands. This is the second half of this second match of the second day of competition in the Hero Hockey League World League Final. These matches, all of them being played at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. And the Mindsen, alongside me, Simon Mason in the commentary box. At the moment, scrapping for that ball in midfield is Zalewski.
Yeah, Valtioli's going to see a green card for that. He immediately knew there'd been a touch. We just saw a flash of Kieran Govers, who's still on the sideline. So now the team's down to 10 apiece. Govers picking up his green card for a very aggressive run through 2 Dutch players to try and collect a ball with only a minute to go in the first.
This has come in quite dangerously, and eventually they get rid of it. So both teams temporarily down to 10 men. With Valtioli joining Kieran Govers on the sidelines. Just a couple of minutes in the sin bin.
Ockenden saw Govers, who's back on and was leading out to that left-hand flank, but there was just too much pace on the ball. Needed to be floated a little bit more. Balls such as that, balls such as that, what you want to be doing is playing at a pace where the forward can get out there, and when they're receiving it, still be turning back towards goal. If you're receiving it and running away, you've got to go from where you want to be.
And Australia looking to move forward with their experienced men. First Govers, then Knowles, sending a ball in which was quite well intended for Wetton, just finding his foot. was a good interception, but it's fallen here for Dutch possession. Could this be an opportunity? Well, Lovell has done well to come out, but eventually, yes, Billy Bakker breaks the deadlock. Nothing like experience. Old as gold here at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium.
It's a great finish. I thought in the first innings it had been stolen brilliantly in the middle of the pitch. Bakker's first touch took him a little bit too wide. I didn't think he was going to get anything out of it. But he spins back inside himself, and the speed of his hands to fire that in goal, brilliant.
Well, what do you know? Australia with the majority of the good chances in this match, but it's Netherlands who have the lead. Somewhat against the run of play, even in the early exchanges in the second half. And now here's an opportunity now for Herzberger. Beautifully worked with Bakker once again. Good tackle coming in from Joel Carroll.
Well, right at the start of this game, we said that Bakker would need to be busier in order for the Dutch to be effective. That last passage play, that probably highlights what he's not so good at. Bakker's brilliant individually, but I'm not sure that his team play is quite as good as you might like at times. There, the return pass needed to be earlier, but Van der Horst bursting through midfield.
And he's almost found Bakker yet again. Tyler Lovell was off his line, and it only needed Bakker to get up to this one, and it would have been danger stations.
Look at the individual skill. This is just centre-back bursting through centre midfield, moving the ball right to left, looks up and sees Bakker just a little bit too much. Bakker had been signalling to be substituted earlier on. Maybe he was feeling just a little bit tired, or he's tweaked something.
The pressure coming right in.
So this is a great steal in midfield, and this is a lovely little pass. Bakker doesn't even touch it first time, but watch this spin. Under his arm, deliver. Great finish.
85th cap for this man. He's only 25 years old, so let's not be fooled by his lack of hair, but he has a lot of experience and he has a lot of quality.
Doesn't really. Tyler Lovell needed to get closer to him. Once he left his goal mouth to put pressure on Bakker, there wasn't a defender in the right place. Tyler Lovell maybe, although he's come on for the second half, a little bit cold, a little bit off the pace, needed to be a little bit more assertive.
As we were just thinking about it in the first match of the day, Simon, perhaps from a neutral perspective, the best result will be a Netherlands victory here, because that will really set this pool up quite nicely.
Well, it will do, and in some of the earlier rounds of this world competition, it did make a difference where you finished in your group of 4 for that first quarter-final. But I have to say, once you get into the top 8 teams in the world, as we pretty much are here, actually that quarter-final game, you're going to be playing a very, very strong team anyway. So trying to set yourself up and think that the 4th team in the other pool is going to be weak, I think is just a little bit of a mistake.
Yes, 8 teams, all of them in action on each and every day. So a feast really for the fans, and those in Delhi who are watching this telecast, come on down to the stadium. Make sure you witness some of the great action that we've been witness to. Netherlands effectively scoring what is goal number 27, and we are just into the 6th match. He's really been busy right through this match, Herzberger. Well worked once again into a good position, but in the end, just scuffing his shot a little bit was Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman, that's a difficult skill to execute. Ball was bobbling. You see here, he comes into the circle really well from Kemperman. Bobbles up a little bit. Hoffman, the only thing he's got to do is an upright reverse.
It's a rest almost immediately afterwards. Lively pace, just as it was to the first 35 minutes in the starting 6 minutes of the second half.
We've already seen defensive rotations from the Dutch. Robert van der Horst, as he burst forward through midfield, his good 60-yard run with the ball, he immediately signalled to give himself a bit of a breather.
This was a vicious slap intended to get across to one of the striking players, but intercepted quite nicely and given away. Sander Devine did well initially, but would have been disappointed with the final output. This is Brown.
clever pass from Brown under his arm, had straightened his body up to look like he was going to deliver it down the right flank, and in the end Balkestein stepped forward and deflected it. Quite often you'll see defenders do that because actually it's really difficult to trap a ball clean and dead in your own circle, so deflecting it away from danger is often the best option.
By no means out of this as a contest, the Australians. They did play some good hockey in the closing stages of that first half, and that's pretty much what they need to try and recover. Again, played in and finding himself in a good position, Wetton.
Exactly what you just said, Devine, is the Aussies are in no way out of this. They were forcing the Dutch back. The Dutch had their entire defensive line within 30 metres of their own goal. And now we see a typical Australian press. The men stepping forward in goal, really putting pressure on their opposite numbers. So we need to get on Vermeulen, then he's going to get his eyes up and deliver a meaningful pass.
Number 14.
Yep, so we've seen a green card for Budgeon. Budgeon must have been some sort of contact off the ball because he was certainly a good 15 yards away from it.
So the pause in play affected by the umpire on the far side, Herman Montes de Oca. He saw something. He was very quick to act on it. As you would expect in a match between two pedigreed teams, a lot of commitment. That's why a few tackles coming in, and Nicholas Budgeon, the latest to get a green card. Liam de Jong, one of those experienced players who have been brought on this trip, as mentioned both by Rick Charlesworth himself as well as Simon Mason. Few big names missing from this squad. Oh, that's a valiant attempt from Brown to get across to it.
A great commitment. The overhead had got to Rusty forward quite well. He brought it down, but his second touch was a little heavy. Wasn't able to accelerate towards Stockman's goal, because if he had got a decent touch, he was in behind the Dutch defence. Oh, that's an interesting choice of ball to leave. Like Tristan White has decided to let that go. I don't think he knew that Hertzberger was behind him.
Things certainly hotting up on a relatively cool evening in New Delhi. Yes, besides Jamie Dwyer, the likes of Rob Hammond, Matthew Butterini, Matt Goetz, Fergus Kavanagh, Matthew Swan, lots of players who would normally make it through to the first Australian squad have not made this trip.
They've got such a pool of players. You also Chris Cirillo, who you can add into that as a devastating corner striker. I know that Govers was fantastic yesterday with a couple of great strikes, but he will be missed at times as well from a huge 70-yard aerial from back to front.
Australia just lording over the numbers somewhat, but the most important statistic up on the top left corner, Netherlands have made one of those 8 shots count, and Australia haven't been able to convert any of their 11. Orchard to De Jong. Time for the experienced hands here to step up and find just that little bit of magic. One of them certainly is on the ball, Knowles. Well picked up by Wetton, turning this one back. Well defended though. Sanderbart was low down and made sure he got enough of a contact with it. Zalewski. Ford goes for a snapshot, but easy for Stockman.
Easy, but it was close to him, and it was got some pace on it. Stockman had to stick a left leg out.
Might be called into play again, but again a crucial intervention, this time by De Vogt.
And again it's Wetton. He's been busy. I just wonder if he's done any training with Matty Swan. He plays very, very similar to Matty Swan. Lovely little bounce movements from left to right. Obviously hugely committed, as he just shows. But the pass you played a moment ago where he picked the ball up deep in the circle was totally created by a great left to right double movement. Completely lost the defender who was front marking him.
Hails from Brisbane, so comes from that nursery of hockey, as it were, Queensland. Perhaps along with Western Australia has created some of the best players through the Australian system. Budgeon. All the way back to the defense. Orchard. good receiving bit of play and also some good work from Ford to get that move going, but the Netherlands defense scrambling together and making sure that danger was averted for the moment. Again, another attack forming itself. Somehow Netherlands scrambling and getting this one away as well. 23 minutes still on the clock left. Lots and lots of time for Australia to come back into it, and they're getting warmer and warmer. Lots and lots of good movement going towards the goal.
Given how either team can force their opponent back deep into the circle. Oh, that was nearly a brilliant touch in the middle of the circle from Govers as the ball got fired across, but it had taken a touch and was potentially dangerous. That's certainly what Massengrochel decided.
This beautiful long ball from Wilson. Oh, this time again there could be some anxious moments for the defense. Again, Stockman coming out and just getting his big boots across to it.
There's a scrambled save in the end. That's a really clever reverse stick touch then in front of the keeper, but low hands. This is the replay of the goal that Govers may have scored.
The last few minutes has been all Australia. If you were part of the orange camp, what would you do now to break this momentum? What would you want to do?
Well, I think Paul Van As is relying on being reasonably patient. He's playing a 60-yard press with his front three holding at 60 yards and not stepping out. I think it's okay as long as they don't allow the Australians to really pin them too deep. They don't need to step out and do anything different. If they do and do it individually, they're going to get punished. They just need to stay as a unit, really tight across the field.
And scoring will always help. This time it won't count. Of course, came in from outside. No touch from Jonker. In fact, went out of play. Still with Dutch possession. Goal could come in very handy, just the way that this half has gone as well. Both teams giving nothing away in defense. So the difference between the two teams could be that goal. And who knows, if we find one from either of these two teams here, it might just open a flurry of goals to follow.
This is the interesting position. When the Dutch start to come forward, the Aussies are quite happy to leave Turner high to give an outlet pass going forwards. The Dutch aren't prepared to do that. When they defend with all 11. So when they get the ball, it's really difficult for them to then make any ground up the pitch in a meaningful way. The Aussies, on the other hand, if they steal it sort of centre midfield, left or right midfield, they can immediately get their eyes up and just float a ball to Turner, who's quite prepared to do the legwork to either flank to receive it.
There he is, the only man on screen looking to chase things down, as Simon Mason did mention. Typical Australian style of pressing high, putting pressure on the balls, being received by the defenders. This time, though, causing no problems for Yoli. Oh, this one has been stolen beautifully. But the second touch doesn't come in. It's well defended by Van der Horst.
And a great release ball from Van der Horst, who finds Hoffman bursting down the right if he gets his eyes up. Poor in the end, unable to deliver it accurately. Had got his eyes up, vital for a player coming forward with the ball.
That's what Simon Orchard is doing now. End-to-end action at the National Stadium. Daniel Beale has worked well, but the infringement going against him.
Two Dutch defenders set on a flat forehand stick. Robert Van der Horst, one of them, as he tried to spin his way into the circle, was always going to obstruct, putting his body between the ball and where he wanted to go.
As we mentioned yesterday, of course, while the format does allow you to recover quickly, but also a few quick matches inside 9 days. So physically, these teams will have to be at their optimum best. Oh! That could have gone anywhere.
Well, it could have done this. I was going to criticise Jonker as he peeled out onto that left-hand side, as we see here, and delivers a reverse stick cross. Sevi Van As doesn't believe it's going to get to him if he just committed earlier. Beautiful bit of technique to deliver the pass in the first place.
This looked like it also took just a bit of a touch from another Dutch stick along the way. That might have just got him off. But Again, good combination moving forward. Sevivanas again involved in that. Will be a card. It is a yellow for Bob de Vogt.
Oh, that's harsh, I think, Bob de Vogt. I think he was pretty well set. I didn't feel there was any particular forward movement from his stick to create the stick contact.
And was whipped in with a lot of power by Govers, but not able to find any of his attacking players, particularly Glenn Turner.
Here we see that ball crashed in. Stockman having to jump out the way so it doesn't hit his pads.
Confirmation for the temporary suspension. Minimum of 5 minutes for Bob de Vogt. And the goal scorer, Billy Bakker, this time denied by Carroll.
I think that's quite clever from Billy Bakker. He had nothing in front of him, so carrying it in that position means that the tackle is always going to knock the ball off the end of the pitch. Dutch retain possession, and this 5 minutes when they're a man down is going to be all about how well they do handle the ball. They just need to recycle it, keep hold of the ball, because the Aussies now with an extra man can step out aggressively.
Again, it's the Dutchman going forward in good numbers. Oh, slipping at a vital position. Sander Devine had some players up front to try and pass to.
It was Kemperman who delivered him the ball, but it's just feet go from underneath him, unable to deliver.
Germans getting ready for their next encounter, which is against England in a short while from now. It's at 6 p.m. local time, and then New Zealand will take on India. And an absolutely vital encounter, more for the home side. The Indians having lost their opening encounter 2-0 to England. This time though coming forward in good numbers. Once again, the Aussies combining well.
Ockenden created all of that by driving through centre midfield. A great dummy to allow him to come into the circle, and then a little reverse stick pop.
I had mentioned right at the top of the telecast, these Aussies do like playing here. They won the World Cup here the last time around. They also won the Commonwealth Games gold. And of course, a number of them were part of the inaugural HIL last year. They know these conditions perfectly, know this ground very well.
Oh, Valtioli taking the high-risk option out of his own circle. He's turned the ball over, he's driven forward a long way, but he had no passing options. His two half-back players were totally static.
This time again, good commitment from the man down the right, Devine. Turner. Billy Bakker once again holding on to the ball, keeping the Aussies away and making sure that the possession is retained by his team. Beale goes down the right. Effective clearance by Van der Weerden. This game pretty much still in the balance. 14 minutes to go. That's a long time in a hockey match, but just the way that it has gone. Not too many clear-cut chances for either side. Underscoring the quality both in defense as well as some of the goalkeeping today. And an interesting call that which you mentioned, Tyler Lovell coming into the second half and hasn't had much to do. In fact, the only occasion he was called into action led to a goal.
Well, the margins are so fine, particularly as a goalkeeper, at this level. You're talking half a metre, 50 centimetres was the difference between him being successful and not. And I'm just Not sure if you can get yourself warm enough. I was watching, he was being forced to warm up with what appeared to, well, what was the other goalkeeper, and then what appeared to be the team doctor at one point. Now that can't be classed as a quality international warm-up.
Still enough time, though. That's what the Aussies will believe. But just running hard so often in this game. A few of them are running out of legs, one would think. That's why the player rotation has been high, as always, from the Aussies.
But now we look and we see the full Australian press. 5 men, 3 midfielders and 2 forwards. It does leave the holes afterwards, which is where Hertzberger's running to. He's almost playing a back 5 and a front 5 in order for them to press, but they have lost it. Oh.
Yes, that could have been vital, giving possession away at a situation where they don't have too many men in their own defensive half. Again, just the 2 men in their own side of the pitch. Setting it up front yet again. Do win possession through this free hit. Taken quickly by Oakenden, who's also been a standout performer today for the Aussies. Finds a foot, but just outside the D.
Kempelen clears his lines, but that was just an opportunity given to them by the fact that Australia tried to smash the ball into the circle. Real hits to nothing, and they need to keep control of it a little better than that. The Dutch defensive lines have been too strong.
The Netherlands have been quite happy to allow Australia a greater share of the possession. Australia have had those circle penetrations in greater numbers. But it's in terms of their ability to convert the shots, which has been lacking today. None converted from 13 tried thus far.
I have to say, I do think the Dutch have defended very well, given the amount of ball the Aussies have had. That stat is a little bit fast, but it's the time in the opponent's half, and they have held the ball, the Aussies, between halfway and the 25-yard line. They've not consistently broken into the circle from the amount of ball that they've had.
Oh, that's a superb run. Oh, and a good interception as well from Lovell, but still could be a chance, and it's well saved. Just getting his left hand up and doing well, the young man.
I thought Hertzberger had got that all wrong as he picked it up. That was prime for a forehand flick as the goalkeeper was completely out of position down on the turf. But in spinning, even though his balance was off, Hertzberger delivers a great shot to the goal.
And just playing his 10th match. 26 years of age, the man from Perth, Western Australia. Made his debut just last year, and a valuable experience against some of the top players in the world.
And here we see it was great run and pulled back. Goalkeeper gets it. There I felt that Hertzberger had to fire on his forehand. Goalkeeper would have been down. Good save in the end.
Yes, while Hertzberger took his time, it was a quick recovery from Lovell which enabled him to effect the save. And a vital one too, because 2-0 down from here would have been a difficult game to chase for the Aussies. As it stands, just a little under 10 minutes left. Anything can still happen in this game.
Van der Veerden very much getting involved with that tackle, not giving any space behind him.
Joel Carroll. Easy enough. Sander Bart, who's also had a good game. In fact, 2 good games in a row for him, which one wouldn't say normally for a team. It's not lost its first encounter 5-2. But sometimes Mace scorelines can be a little deceptive. They don't really tell the whole story.
Well, the Dutch didn't play well as a team, but the Argentinians individual. Mazzilli was just incredible, some of the things that he did, and a couple of goals for Ibarra. So for them, their success was more about the individuals. in contrast to today when both teams have played superbly well. Difficult to pull individual players out from today because both sides have handled the ball well, good strength and tactics. It shows that they've defended well as well, given there's not been a massive number of really clear-cut chances.
This move was also broken down by another impressive performer today for the Dutchman. The skipper, Van der Horst, has also been excellent. So this is Sander Devine on to Vermeulen. All the way back to the defence. Quite happy to retain possession at this stage.
Now all of a sudden Betten starts to step out, Turner starts to step out. And it's when those players start to sprint at you that you look up, it causes a fraction of a second of hesitation. You then force your pass into midfield and the next line of 3 gold shirts steps forward to intercept and counter-attack. They've done it for years and they do it so well. It's an instinctive way of pressing. Barkstein looked tired, didn't he? It was a tired hit off the side of the pitch. They've had to be so focused. Mentally, they'll be really tired after this. The conditions are great for them physically. Say, how's that not a free hit? If it's a hit at least 2 or 3 feet on the way through.
Yes, he's been a tireless worker for the Aussies. Jason Wilson, since he's come on. He's made things difficult as possible for the Dutch defenders. Used the flanks quite effectively. So going for one final hurrah, one would think, inside the last 7 minutes. Oh, this has fallen well. Ford looking to find some of his teammates, but Stockman yet again standing firm, kicking the ball away.
He just kind of stood on his post as the ball came in and looked at it in front of his pads and went, there's nowhere for you to go. I'm not going to move to give you a space to put it through my legs. And in the end, I think it was actually a stick tackle. Well, a stick tackle from the goalie. There's no offence, but certainly comes off his stick off the baseline. You see here as it comes in, it's a great little free hit. A roll around, lovely pass under the arm. Stockman just stands there and goes, I'm not doing anything. You're going to play it into my stick.
It definitely has been a good aggressive display from the Aussies. It's
What a pass from Van der Verden if it gets there. First touch.
oh, and almost a finish as well.
Oh, Van der Verden had seen Bart going up the right-hand side. Here, overhead pass, missed by the Aussie defence, crack. What you want from that is just a great top corner.
Constantine Jonker getting very close to getting a touch to this, and that would have been pretty much the end of it as far as Australia are concerned, one would have thought. But as it stands, it's still only 1-0. So Australia, even if they do lose this game, it will not be for want of effort, that's for sure.
Oh, this is harsh. Now Van der Horst's going to pick up a card for not retreating 5 yards. That's a huge yellow for the captain. With 5.5 minutes to go, pretty much taking him out for the rest of the game. He tried to run up the left-hand side. The Aussies felt the ball had gone out of play, and as he recovered, Marcin Grochel didn't think he'd made the requisite 5 yards.
Knowles. Pretty much every man apart from the keeper now in attack.
Mullen's effort to get across the front of that defensive line.
Look at the number of yellow shirts in there. Vying for that ball. They've got it back in and just across the face of goal. Was that an outstanding save from the goal line?
Sander Bart? Is that either Jaap Stockman? But I think that's Sander Bart on the goal line and somehow managed to play that away. I don't know whether it's going in or whether it's just going across the face, but it's a vital touch.
Well, this is action stations in front of the Dutch goal, and somehow they survive this.
There's a clash in the middle of the circle. Players go all over the place. There's the player going down. And all of a sudden goes past Stockman. It was going into the far post.
Confirmation of that card for Van der Horst, which will mean that he'll probably only come on for the last 33 seconds. Lovell kicks it away. I wonder if Rick Charlesworth will consider taking his keeper off and putting on 11 outfield players.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least, but it depends a little bit on how he perceives these early stages of the tournament. He certainly won't want to exhaust his team physically by making them push and work, albeit only 4 minutes to go. But once the pulse rates start getting up into the 180s, close to 190s, it really does take a long time to recover outside of the game, never mind during the game itself.
Well, even if they do go on to lose this one, Australia will not be affected too much in terms of goal difference, because that's where Netherlands losing in a big way to Argentina will help them. So they will stay second, but Netherlands will make that move up to third and just join them on 3 points in this Pool B. Pool A action coming up next. England against Germany soon. Not too long away from now, a little over half an hour. That will be followed by New Zealand against India. The big game of the night in terms of certainly the crowd interest, the local passion.
That's a great hit from Sander Devine. Rugby terms, kicking for touch has got a massive amount of territory back down the pitch. Aussies having to bring it from 80 metres or 80 yards away from the Dutch goal.
It's outstanding commitment levels. That's been the hallmark of this Dutch performance. Got a goal from Billy Bakker, but apart from that, it's been a good defensive performance. But can Australia break through finally? Yet again, good defending.
Kemperman again on the edge of the circle. It was a bit of a swish tackle. However, it was needed, and they really are working incredibly hard. Hoffman as well, back through the midfield. The Dutch are now going to have to keep hold of this ball for as long as they possibly can, because there's plenty of time still. Aussies high press, 5 men round the ball trying to win possession back.
Yes, with Van der Horst out of the action now for the next 2 minutes as well. It will mean that Netherlands have no option but to try and defend as stoutly as they can. Ockenden has been one of the outstanding performers for Australia. He slips this one through for Divin. Zalewski was looking for it. Now they're thinking of a challenge, but in the meantime...
No, I'm not sure that's quick enough, Devine. I really don't. It has to be pretty much immediate. However, the player on the left-hand side, I didn't catch who it was immediately signalling as he ran back. There was a definite early signal.
Penalty corner. Please check. I look for a Dutch foot inside the circle.
It was Zalewski who immediately asked for it there. As Turner spins, does it hit the foot? Difficult to see. It still needs to be a little bit closer, I'd have thought. Difficult. Turner's hand goes up straight away, though, for Hoffman's foot.
I thought that last angle seemed to suggest that there might just have been a bit of shoe onto it.
The problem with that, Devine, is the might. The video umpire has to be absolutely sure that he can give it.
It was quick enough. That guy there? Number 4? We'll check. Guys, I gave him... Can I wait for the answer?
Martin, I got a decision for you.
Yes?
There was a Dutch foot inside the circle, so therefore it's a penalty corner.
Okay, thank you. Penalty corner.
Late drama here at National Stadium. Australia, have they got that lifeline that they wanted?
Well, it certainly looked like it hit a foot from our replays, didn't it? There is that question mark over the time that it took, but you have to say Zalewski, as he ran back down the left-hand side, was immediately asking for time for the video replay. And whilst Martin Groppel didn't see him in the first instance, his colleague did, and therefore you have to say it was asked for pretty much immediately.
And they haven't had any luck today, but can they finish this off? This is for their entire tournament. 2 goals, both of them for Kieran Govers. And he's one of the men poised on the top of the D. Number 27 is Govers, alongside him Joel Carroll as well.
And Mark Knowles, who was lining up on the right-hand cast a moment ago, has just been told to go and inject it. They haven't got an injector on the pitch.
So the captain with the injection. Govers going for his third, but it's well saved.
And Stockman doing what he didn't do yesterday, getting down low to a ball down the middle.
Oh, this one could be dangerous as well. Moving forward, yet another penalty corner coming off a Dutch stick. And good pressure yet again by Aaron Zalewski.
Well, Sander Bart had to chase that down. Stockman have made a save, we see here, but the ball into circle bobbles up. Look at Bart immediately getting in the way with absolutely everything. But it does come up off him to give away the corner. Here we see a replay of that corner. Flicked straight down the middle. Stockman collapsing onto his backside, feet together.
And a referral coming in now from the Dutchman.
Gregory.
Yes, Martin, go ahead.
Netherlands, I gave a corner for a dangerous ball off the Dutch stick going down into the crowd of players. That's what penalty corner. And Netherlands saying the ball was dangerous going into the Dutch player already. Therefore, they're asking for a free hit out.
Okay, I will check for the danger created eventually by the Australian. Thank you.
Oh, what'll be interesting to see here is if the first shot, even if it is high, if the first ball here, that's created here as it comes in, if that's perceived to be going at goal, then we have precedent. It's a shot at goal, so the height doesn't matter. Comes up originally off the Dutch player to there. Now that's dropped down. Is that classified as a shot, that touch from Zalewski? If it's going on goal, then it's a corner.
For you, go ahead. There is no clear reason to change your decision, so therefore keep your decision penalty corner.
Okay, thank you.
So that was fairly straightforward in the opinion of Gregory Utenhoff. That was definitely going towards goal. So Netherlands lose their referral, but immaterial really with 70 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you would always refer at that point just in case you get the opportunity to get it overruled.
Will be the final meaningful bit of action in this half, in this match indeed. It's covers again, and it's yet again a great save from Stockman. He is pumped about it.
Very pumped about it because he's got a massive left foot on that. That's not down the middle, but he's got enough to deflect the ball away to safety. Super bit of goalkeeping.
Well, into the last 40 seconds now. Have they got a touch on? Well,
no, whistle had already gone. Whistle had already gone for a dangerous ball into the circle. Turner thinks he got it, but it would already been blown against.
Oh, anxious moments for Paul van As. A picture's worth 1,000 words. This one speaks its own volume. He knows they've been under the cosh. This was the penalty corner. Great save from Jaap Stockman, and that means that Netherlands finally claim their first victory. But fair game to Australia, who gave us an outstanding match to behold.
I think that's a great quality game of hockey. Both teams playing superbly well. Chances at either end. The Dutch obviously scoring just that lone goal, but Australia really at the end came into their strength, and Stockman had to pick up with a couple of outstanding saves on corners.
So it was a story of two very, very exciting halves of hockey. The first one didn't yield any result, but in the second one, into the third minute of it, it was Billy Bakker whose goal made the difference in the end. And Netherlands surviving in spite of not having Van der Horst for those last 5 minutes. That could have been crucial, but Paul van As will be very pleased with how his team held on, and Jaap Stockman in particular put away the horrors of his performance yesterday and turned in a 5-star performance for his team. The final score at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium for this particular Pool B fixture has turned out to be Netherlands 1, Australia 0. So Netherlands with this victory go up to 3 points as well. And that means that Australia also stay on 3 points, but they will be higher up on the basis of goal difference. So Pool B very much alive, Simon, because it also means Belgium have an outside chance too.
Well, it does tighten that pool up, but I think at this stage in the competition, pretty much anything can happen anyway. Both teams will be pretty happy with their performance, even if not happy with the result.
Some heroes for Netherlands on the day, but one man in particular will stand out, and that was Billy Bakker. Although this really could be called a great goal, which was manufactured by his teammate.
It was manufactured. The first pass, obviously, however, great turn, super balance. The steal in midfield was class, but Bakker, not this first phase of play, but the second phase of play here, as he turns inside himself and fires, he knew exactly what he was going to do.
And the pressure was sustained right through by the Dutchman. And Tyler Lovell was called into action on a couple of occasions, making sure he did his work well.
This, however, was a great pass from Van der Verde. I'm just wishing Sanderbaard could connect well to get a second Dutch goal. Didn't quite get an open stick on it well.
And this was some late drama right in that half. Couple of penalty corners right through to the end, and Kieran Garvers unable to add to his tally of 2 goals in the opening match. So the numbers are bearing out that Australia had a lot more possession. They had the better of the shots as well as the circle penetrations, but the number which counts right on top. The only goal going Netherlands' way. A scrappy match as one would expect in parts, which is why one got to saw 5 cards, 2 yellows, both of them for Netherlands, as well as 3 green cards too. So much needed victory after their reverse at the hands of Argentina on the opening night means that their Hero Hockey World League final campaign is up and running, and that's why there's a sense of congratulations all around. Well, the congratulations will continue with the Hero Man of the Match presentation. It's going to be Michael Absalom.
Thanks very much, and welcome along to the Hero Man of the Match presentation. Alongside me is Coco Budejski. He is the FIH representative and president of the Pan Am Hockey Federation, and we'd like to announce today's Man of the Match, which is Robert Kemperman. Congratulations, Robert. A nice trophy there. Also 25,000 rupees coming your way, courtesy of the Hero Man of the Match. Well done. Your reaction to that win?
Yeah, it was a great team effort. We played really well. We fight from the first minute, and yeah, 1-0 is the result. Yeah.
First 3 points of the tournament as well, so you kind of got things going now. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, first game was not that good, not that like we have used to play. Today we played really well as a team, what I said, and it's a big team effort today. Yeah.
What's the biggest positive you take away from a game like this?
Defensively, we have played really good, and that's the best thing for today, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and a rest day tomorrow, looking forward to that?
Looking forward, yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, enjoy that. Keep smiling and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
Yes, successive good games for Robert Kemperman, this time around on the winning side of the margin. So this is a match which has really split this pool wide open in terms of where it's headed. With the Netherlands also catching up with Australia in terms of being on 3 points. Argentina sitting pretty on top. 2 victories, 2 great victories obtained, first over Netherlands and then over Belgium earlier today. So Belgium still with everything to do, but remember, all immaterial in the sense that they will all qualify for the quarterfinals, and from then on, it's anybody's game, it's anybody's tournament. Just a quick reminder, on Facebook, we are at FI Hockey, and on Twitter, we are at FIH_hockey with the hashtag HHWL. Right, so we are 50% done with today's proceedings. First, an enthralling match which was won by Argentina by 3-2. And now Netherlands winning by the single goal against Australia. Up next, it's going to be England against Germany in just a short while from now, just about 20 minutes, 22 minutes or so. And after that, at 8 p.m., expect a lot of excitement and a lot of crowds, hopefully, when New Zealand take on India in a vital Pool A encounter. This is how Pool A is positioned at the moment. Germany sitting pretty thanks to that huge 6-1 victory over New Zealand. And England, of course, also getting that 2-0 victory over India. So those 2 teams with 3 points apiece, and they'll be looking to pull ahead of each other. Germany, in a sense, can afford to draw, but England would love a victory and go top of Pool A and try and solidify their standings with the last match against New Zealand to follow. So lots more action to expect and look forward to. We are just about done with 2 of the 4 games on this second day of this Hero Hockey World League final. And do join us for the next game, which is England against Germany, 2 traditional rivals in a crucial Pool A encounter.